minute, fellas. Look here. Stand by.
One for C-Lab, two for Ego, three for Wolverine to round out the trio. In this episode, everybody dies.
Broadcasting live from way outside my power band, this is The Blah. In this episode, everybody dies. I'm your host, the Wolverine, along with my super companions, Jarhigo.
Greetings.
And C-Lab forever.
Howdy.
Welcome to the show, folks. This week we're talking about the 1987 classic science fiction film, Robocop, starring Peter Weller. And let's get to it. Go Robo.
Go Joe. I
Go Robo.
want you guys to
What?
berate me into liking this movie more than I did.
Okay, no problem.
I didn't dislike it. I was just kind of like, yeah, cool. It's pretty good. Yeah. I didn't remember it overly. It's been a very long time. I was like, yeah, that's fun. But like, I don't know. I'd say I'm definitely not lukewarm. Like I'm warmer than lukewarm. But no, Luke fucking Skywalker, you inbred. But but I just want I hope that you are both like frothing about this and are gonna like yell at me and make me happier.
Frothing? I don't know if that's quite accurate. I definitely stoked. This is a classic film.
Yeah, totally. It was fun.
It's as classic as a Blade Runner. It might not be as good as Blade Runner, but it's definitely in the same echelon.
Them's bold words.
I don't know if I'll echo that sentiment per se,
Whoa.
but it's definitely a classic.
Yeah.
I definitely have my reasons for loving it. Not necessarily just because of the nostalgia value.
Indeed.
It still holds up, I think, for what it is.
Oh, yeah.
It's great.
I was way into it as a kid.
You were way into it as a kid?
Yeah. I mean, like, there's very few things cooler than robots and, you know, the Ed 109 microphone machine gun robot. It's pretty awesome.
It's Ed 209.
Oh, Ed
Thank
209.
you.
That's a death.
It's Ed 209. Yes, you are dead.
You're a move creep.
And we've got a death in the first 30 seconds, folks.
Which works. Ed 209 killed me. I fell backwards onto a model of a weird utopian city.
There you go.
My name is not Ed 109. You have 20 seconds to get it right.
Incidentally, that's what Ed 109 sounded like.
I love that scene, man. It's so amazing. Yeah.
You have 15 seconds to get it right.
Oh, I got it right.
Hey. Sorry, go ahead, Chad.
No, I'm about to, yeah. I just need to wait 15 seconds.
Right.
Yeah.
I like what you did there.
Hey.
Betty, what's your high level?
Without getting into the nitty gritty here, I kind of said some of it already, but this is just, there's a great, I guess my high level is this. There's a great sort of interplay between, you know, hyper violence and like dark comedy and satire in this movie that is, you know, I might have missed that. I think I sensed it when I was a kid, but I might have missed it a little bit.
Agreed.
But there's just something about that combo that's great. And, you know, it's very Paul Verhoeven.
Totally.
And, you know, there's lots to love. There's great, you know, practical effects. Peter Weller is amazing.
Ugh.
You know, I could go on, but I'll leave it there.
I like it. Short and sweet. I'll echo that. It's a classic film. I actually started watching the updated Robocop because I own a copy of that. And they're two separate movies, and they're both good in their own ways. I think this movie still holds up. I think Peter Weller's fantastic, like Ben said. It's got that great Verhoeven mix of super dark, sadistic comedy, you know, mixed in with everything else, which is really unique to him, I think. And, you know, I think it holds up great. I was watching the original with my brother last night. We were talking about it, and I said you could sit and say, like we have with other science fiction films, like, oh, this would be great if it was made now, and if there was like updated, special effects and computer generated effects and all that sort of thing. And we have that with the remake, but I don't really want this movie, the original, to have that. I don't think it needs it. I think it's a great example of doing an amazing job of telling the story and creating a futuristic world with what they had, similar to some other films that we've said the same thing about. I can't recall what they are, but and in that respect, that's part of what makes it a classic and also what makes it hold up. So I'll leave it at that for now.
Yeah, just a second ago, I was thinking that if this movie was made now, it would have probably been 30, 40 minutes longer. So I kind of liked that it was trim and tight, but I had forgotten just how quickly Murphy gets shot to shit, and then just how quickly the kind of climax comes at the end. So I definitely enjoyed the old school, traditional, 90, 100-minute format for sure, but I definitely feel like it would have been a lot fatter if it had been remade these days.
I'm feeling you there. I think one of the things that I wrote in my notes that I really enjoyed about the original was just the pacing was fantastic. Like, it's a long-ish movie. It's not crazy long, but it moves along at such a nice clip, and they don't really leave anything out in that. I said the same thing about Rocky 3 last week, and I think the same exact thing applies here. Like, it's perfectly paced out.
Yeah, I mean, an hour and 43 minutes isn't like slouchy by any stretch of the imagination. As far as runtime goes.
No way.
I feel like it's fairly average. I mean, maybe after, coming off of Justice League, anything seems short, but
indeed.
Yeah,
it does unfold really quickly for sure. I get what you're saying, but also that I think that suits the style of movie it is.
Yeah, I agree, definitely. I guess I wasn't necessarily suggesting it should be 40 minutes longer, but I'm maybe griping a little bit about the state of play where everything has to be 3 fucking hours nowadays, and I'm kind of over that to a certain degree. So yeah, I agree. I think it just, maybe I say it because Murphy's partners with Murphy gets sent to the new station and has a new partner for all of like 6 minutes. Like, I don't know. I like my recollection of it was that there was a little bit more, human copying.
Yeah, I'm with you, Chad. I had the same recollection. I was like, I thought there was a little bit more meat as far as that goes in the beginning. I don't really think, again, anything got left out that was critical, or there was certainly nothing like that. I was like, oh, it'd have been great if they explained a little more of this, or we had a little more time with that. I didn't feel that way in the beginning, but I do, same as you, remember it being longer in the beginning. Like, I remember the ramp up being much longer, but I mean, again, one of the great things is like they just jump right in. It's like we're off and running. We get a great idea of who the antagonist is and all of that sort of stuff, and then we're right into him becoming Robocop.
Yeah, I guess maybe like Dredd comes to mind. Another chin movie where
yes,
it opens and there's that like motorcycle chase and a bit of a something, and then they end up on the blocks. So
yeah. They don't waste any time in Dredd either. I don't know. I dug that about this. And just for reference, I did, like I said, I didn't watch the entirety of the updated RoboCop, but that clocks in at 2 hours and 1 minute. So it's not really that much longer than this one.
Yeah, I don't remember liking that, but I don't recall.
It's good. It's tough.
It's different.
Yeah, it's different.
It's a different movie. It's not as good as it's hard to top the original because it was
I'm just not gonna.
But it's also just a very different movie. I mean, it
is.
Using the same sort of bones, but putting different stuff on top of it. It definitely has a different sort of purpose. I think it's more philosophical rather than satirical. It's just a different movie.
Yeah, I mean, without getting way too deep into it, I think that the updated version focused on the humanity more, which I really dug, and there's things I like about it and there's things I don't like about it. And it's also, coming off of like a whole franchise. So it's really hard to come into that and really kill it, you know?
Yeah.
It's no Blade Runner 2049, I'll tell you that.
No.
Very few movies are.
Indeed, Chad.
Let's talk about the gore for a minute.
Oh, yes. Let's do that.
I think that this movie wouldn't be as strong if it wasn't for the ultra-violence. And it's like almost so violent that it's funny. Well, I think
Yes.
that's probably an understatement. I think it's intentionally ultra-violent to be funny. And I enjoyed the ultra-violence. Like, it's just so ridiculous. Particularly towards the end with the toxic waste stuff and whatever. But
Yeah.
it's really well done.
Help me.
Yeah, the toxic waste of meal. Totally.
But just the dude getting shot to shit on the diorama of the city is pretty intense. I saw a clip on YouTube a few months back, and it had been so long since I saw the movie that I was like, "Oh right, yeah, that's hectic, man." It's just fucking hilarious.
Well, it's really shocking, but the two things I'll say
They
is
just get back to their board meeting.
The two things I'll say about the ultra violence, I think, well, a couple things. Number one, it's very Verhoeven to do that. Okay.
Sure.
Secondly, and you know, we see that in Starship Troopers, we see that in Total Recall, but I think the violence works differently in this one, in that it shows the sort of brutality of the world they're living in, you know? So I think it fits in a way that it doesn't fit in Starship Troopers or in Total Recall. Certainly Total Recall. Starship Troopers maybe a little bit more because it's war, you know? So you kind of get to see the horribleness of the gore in a war type of situation. But in this one, I think it sort of it bolsters the story in terms of what a violent shithole Detroit has become, you know? And also, this movie is so violent. Like, my dad forbade us from watching this movie. Like, he saw us watching that scene where he gets his arms and everything blown off in the beginning, and he was like, you can't watch this movie, ever.
It's kind of fair enough.
Yeah, it was, because now I do the same thing with my own kids. I tightly monitor what they watch, and I understand now why he did it. I didn't get it at the time, but I mean, it's brutal, man. You know, when I renamed Kenny Redshirt. When Redshirt gets shot at the beginning, I mean, Ed 209 unloads on him and then just keeps unloading on him. Like, he's already a pile of meat, and then he's just still shooting, you know? Like, it's so over the top. Overkill, rather. And I lost my train of thought. Somebody else can talk now.
And you're dead.
Well, I mean, you obviously always demo your new tech to the boardroom with loaded weapons.
With live ammo. No doubt. Hey, shit-kicking Redshirt, can you come here and pretend you're going to hold this guy up?
Rule number 1.
It's like, you know, like the second that guy comes on screen, he's not going to make it.
Yeah.
No.
And they get back in the elevator. They're like, it's just business. It's like the dude just got fucking annihilated, man.
Yeah, but he doesn't, like, even before that, like the run up to that, you know, it's like when the three of them are walking upstairs, it's like he doesn't really have a ton of lines. He's kind of like hey guys, what's going on? You know, it's like, well, I'm going to tell you what's going on, Kenny. You're going to die pretty horribly here in a minute.
I had a really weird feeling when I got out of bed this morning, guys. But anyways, how you doing?
Mr. Kenny, have you ever seen Star Trek? Because I'm going to give you a Star Trek uniform. It's a red shirt.
Why don't you just get out of the elevator first there, bud? Thanks.
Exactly, man. Poor Kenny. Poor Kenny.
It's such a perfect example of like that interaction with tech that goes wrong, like, you know, putting a coin into a fucking machine and it like doesn't, it's like your last 25 cents and you're just trying to get something to drink and it doesn't register that you put the fucking coin in and you're like,
oh, totally. It had that feel too, Ben, because it was like I wrote this in my notes. I actually took quite a few notes, and it's, you know, they roll in a panel and it's like, where's the quarter slot on the panel? You know what I mean? Like, it was kind of janky looking, and it had all these like wires connecting it to some something in some other room, you know, and it was totally a rolling panel with a bleep bloop, you know. The only thing that was missing was the 25-cent slot on it.
No doubt about it.
Mr. Kenny. Yes, sir. Would you come up and give us a hand, please? Yes, sir.
I definitely think the corporate stuff was a really great addition here too.
Oh yeah.
I obviously was too young to pick up on the, like, you know, sending up the Reagan-y kind of administration and the frustration with the early corporatocracy stuff. So I definitely enjoyed that.
I did too.
I can imagine somebody in the like late 80s, early 90s just being like, that's so implausible, man, a corporation running a police department. Now I'll just be like, yeah, totally plausible. I can see that happening. The Amazon Police Department.
Yeah, I remember seeing this back then and thinking the same thing, like a company running a police department. And now it's like corporations run everything. You know, you wouldn't think anything of it. I thought it was such a bizarre concept when this movie came out.
Mm.
Yeah, we're not into police departments yet, but prisons.
There you go.
Pretty close. I mean, it's adjacent in the legal system, you know.
What could go wrong with a for-profit prison?
I don't know.
I completely forgot that Robocop ate baby food, and I kind of am into that. I think that's funny.
I thought it was a cool addition and a weird one.
Yeah, like they explain that he eats rudimentary baby food, but how does he poop?
Where does it go? Robo-pooping.
Exactly. I mean, I was going to correct you and say, I mean, it's not exactly baby food. It is, in fact, a rudimentary paste.
It tastes like baby food, though.
It does. And Johnson loves it.
Dude, Johnson's
man.
fucking into it.
He's sneaking down in there all the time to dispense himself a cup.
Exactly. Spoon it out with his finger.
Slop into that little paper cup.
It was gross.
No thanks. I'm not hungry.
Let's shoot it.
Let's shoot it instead. Can you help me aim?
That was adorable, by the way.
Yeah, that was great.
Teaching Robocop how to shoot thing was so perfect. Like turning that like kind of Caddyshack, teach the cute girl how to swing a golf club kind of thing. She's just like, come here, sweetie, I'll teach you.
So you were kind of feeling that, like it was like a role reversal kind of situation?
Well, I got a kick out of that. I thought that was funny.
Yeah, I mean, she was super, super gentle with him throughout the film, which I appreciated. It was enough where it wasn't as if they knew each other for years and years and years. You know what I mean? It was like just enough, I think, to justify the length of their relationship that they had. I don't know why I segued into that, but I thought that it was a cool element of it.
We're there.
I mean, she must clearly feel like some, you know, responsibility for what happened, you know?
Oh, no doubt.
She got knocked out because she looked at that dude's schlong, basically, so...
And she also made the call to go in, so...
Damn it!
That was a good scene.
Made you look.
Mind if I zip it up? And then it's just like the Western movie back and forth with their eyes locked on each other, and she just gets fucking popped in the jaw. So good. So dumb and yet so funny.
So dumb and so good, and they did it well, though. You know, like one of the things that I thought was good about this movie was that minor characters had enough script attention and screen time to establish them at least at like a rudimentary level, so you could somehow connect to them. You know what I mean? Like in the sense that we get to know Clarence and his gang, you know, and it's not just a total bunch of cliche nonsense. Like we get a sense of like them kind of being a unit, you know what I mean, and somewhat what their individual selves are like. And I thought that was pretty cool, actually.
Yeah, his gang, or the gang, I guess, were way less two-dimensional than I would have expected, for sure.
That's what I mean. Yeah.
Semi-balding Ron Howard with the really weird pointy comb-over was really one of my favorites.
Wait, what?
Emil.
The Toxic Avenger dude, he kind of had like a Ron Howard vibe. But like,
yeah, totally, man.
I love how he just had like this weird triangular comb-over pointy mohawk thing. It was just like, I don't know. For whatever reason, it just really...
There's cheesy, skinny little, like, artfully shaved sideburns.
Oh, right. They're like halfway up his cheeks.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, totally. It was very kind of cyberpunk futuristic, man.
Kind of.
You said earlier about how, like, the violence was a great way to showcase the viciousness of the world, and I kind of had, like, a Demolition Man flashback because of how badly they did that in the opening of Demolition Man. But, like, this whole gang are totally now, in my mind, like Simon Phoenix's buddies or whatever. Like, I could totally imagine all of these dudes chilling with Simon Phoenix.
Oh, my God, yes.
I was like, oh, one of the dudes is like, I kept thinking to myself, oh, it's Alex from Grandma's Boy. Trying to like look through the cast now to like see. I knew what all the henchmen's
Leon
names were, but
you're talking about Leon.
What? Yeah, Leon. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, I guess he did have a little.
I was like, oh, I didn't know Alan Covert was in this.
Yeah.
I always thought, sticking on the cast for a second, like I actually thought up until this viewing that Sergeant Reed, who ran, the crappy old police station, was. I thought it was Richard Roundtree. I mean, the guy looks like Richard Roundtree.
He does kind of.
But it ain't Richard Roundtree.
No, he was good too. I liked him. He was a perfect Sarge style captain, whatever.
Totally, man. It was good enough, like, mix between reality and like the Sarge. It's like, God damn it, quit fucking around over there.
Yeah.
Kind of thing,
Yeah, and he's in that position where he's in charge of his people, but he's got the fucking corpos, like, meddling and everything constantly. And yeah, you can feel his frustration.
No doubt.
Absolutely, man. It's classified. It's OCP.
Yeah, you know me.
You done with OCP? Yeah, you know me. How did I never think of that before?
I didn't do that until just now.
Yeah, well, good for you, man. Thank you for that.
You're welcome. I risked to death there. Thank you for appreciating it.
Oh, it was awesome, man. I wish we had the wherewithal to do some sort of remix. You down with OCP? Yeah, you know me. That'd make me smile on a rainy day.
We can tackle that in the future.
There we go. Once we finish the production facility in Valverde, yes.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
The cast is fantastic, and I think the writing's great. And there's a lot of great people here to talk about, like Ronnie Cox and Kurtwood Smith, and even Leon, and even what's his name, Joe with his large Johnson,
the dude with the laugh.
Oh
yes.
My God, dude!
Does it hurt? Does it hurt?
I was watching like a video, and somebody described him as like the guy that's auditioning to be Jabba's next henchman.
Yes,
I like it.
That's a Star Wars death.
It is, but it's a worthy one.
That was worthy. That's great. What was the little dude's name? Jabba's little pet dude?
Salacious Crumb.
Bada bing. Nice one, Benny.
Salacious Crumb?
Yeah, that's his name, yeah.
I believe it was, yes.
Yeah, it was, yeah.
My God. Wow. Okay.
He totally had a sleep.
You sound just like him. That is funny.
Well, let's talk about the gang then.
Yeah, so the same. It's like that dude sitting next to Jabba, and the Gamoran guard gets thrown down into the pit with the Rancor, and he's like, "Does it hurt? Does it hurt?"
Yeah, totally.
While he's being chomped up.
And I think in that universe, he would have to still carry a shotgun because that really was just his bag, man.
Seems to be the weapon of choice.
Casually sort of over his shoulder.
Yes.
Like he's holding a windbreaker or something.
That said, like, I definitely, like, shotties were the way, all the way, but when they were all toting around those 50 cals, that was pretty awesome.
Oh my God.
That was sick.
The video gamey action movie-ness where it's like, let's just, put a bunch of stupid shit on a 50 caliber sniper rifle, and then when they pull the trigger, something like fucking 5 pounds of C4 blow up, This is like, I really enjoyed that.
Yeah, it was great in the sense of just like ridiculous violence and explosions, man. You had to love it. And as a kid, I totally loved it. I was like, dude, I gotta have one of those guns, man. It's sick.
I was just gonna say that gun deserves to be in the pantheon of like dressed up ordinary guns like the MAC-10 with the scope and the
No doubt
the silencer. Like,
I totally agree with you, Ben, and I think that it would be even better to put on top of the scope on that gun to put a Tiger with an entire another scope on top of it, and then it would be ultimate.
From Beastmaster. I forgot about the Tiger with the scope. Oh, that was great.
I was just listening to Beastmaster not too long ago, and I forgot about that bit. It was great.
Yeah, this one had like a really weird like garage door opener mounted to the top of it for whatever reason, and I just got a kick out of that.
Oh, it was great. That gun was great. That they could barely even hold them was even better.
Yeah, it was like someone took it.
And just every single time they shot it from the hip as well.
Yeah. Clearly has a big scope on it, but hell, don't use that.
Yeah, don't bother with that.
Why do you need a scope? It's a goddamn rocket launcher.
Exactly, man. Like, why do you even need the bipod?
Yeah, I bet any money that's like, the dressing on that thing. Like, clearly it's like that, I don't know what the name of the sniper rifle is, but clearly it's that gun.
Yeah.
Yes.
Dressed up, like kit bashed, like somebody took a part off a vacuum cleaner or something. You know what I mean?
Oh, totally, man. Would you say kid what, Ben?
Kit bashed.
Kit bashed.
Kit bashed. There you go. I was thinking it's like a kid mod, like when you have something like that and then you take a bunch of parts from the house and you duct tape them onto something to make some sick made up weapon.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But I mean, that's like Star Wars 101 right there. I mean, Luke's lightsaber is a fucking old camera flash. So
totally.
What was it you were talking about? C-Lab with the, I think in the Mandalorian, like there was like something out on the, Tatooine streets or whatever that was like some recognizable like street sweeper vacuum thing or something.
I think I took a death on that one. It was like a British street sweeping machine, and like all these British people were like, why do you have street sweepers all over Mandalore, guys?
Yes, I remember that.
I remember being like, yeah, that's kind of interesting. And Kev, you were like, that was the weirdest, dumbest anecdote I've ever heard in my life. But thank you for sharing.
I think it might even have been a nugget, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly.
In retrospect, I love that nugget, but
at the time, fuck you.
At the time, I was like, what?
Emil's reaction there is priceless, too. I like it!
Yeah, dude.
I've used that quote many times in my life.
Yes, there's this high quotability from this movie for sure. So, like Chad said, let's talk about the gang for a second. I think we all love Emil. He's great. We love Joe with his unzipped member.
That's my
Leon
favorite part,
as well.
Joe, aka Salacious Crumb.
Salacious Crumb, yeah.
Exactly. And then Leon was like the he was kind of like really goofy, man. He was always like yelling really loud in like a kind of a Jim Carrey kind of way, which I dug. Like when he's getting dragged out of the club or when he runs into Zombie Emil, Toxie Emil. He's always like, "Wah!" Like silly.
I guess that reaction when he ran into Zombie Emil was real. They didn't like show him the makeup beforehand, so he kind of freaked out a bit, which I want to believe even if it's not true.
Yeah, I think that's super cool, man.
You mean it was like a genuine reaction from
I guess they were
boy?
like, all right, so Emil's going to come run over to you and, here he comes, action. And then they just like surprised him with the makeup or something. I don't know.
Yeah, it sounds like it. They didn't show him the makeup before they shot the scene. So when he came out, they could get a more genuine reaction.
It was good makeup. Like, it was the same dude that did makeup. The Thing or something, huh?
Yeah, that was going to be one of my nuggets. Yeah, it was Rob Bottin.
Sniped.
Nice snipe.
I hip shot 50 caliber exploded that nugget.
Yeah, you did, dude.
You did.
You got your snipe fix for the week.
I like it.
You're fucking Clarence Boddicker and you just blew up Kev's fucking 6000 SUX.
Dude.
Exactly, man. That nugget was my 6000 SUX.
Dude, that car, I want that car. That car's great.
You gotta love it, man.
Total whiplash here, but the cars in this were so dumb and I loved them.
Ugh, they were terrible.
Talk about kit bashing.
I love how the police cruiser was supposed to be a futuristic car. It was the least futuristic thing I've ever seen in my life.
That was so shitty. Ben, what did you just say? It's what?
Talk about kit bashing.
Right?
Oh man, yeah, totally.
I'm not sure, but I think it was like a 80s era Ford Thunderbird with like a bunch of,
Kitted out
fiberglass
parts.
shit on it. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, I could see that. The 80s Thunderbird, the big boy. Yeah.
Yeah. Not to mention the cop car is a the Ford Taurus with a fucking cow crasher on the front.
I hate to make a correction on you, Ben, especially about vehicles, but that was actually the Ford Tempo, which made it even lamer.
Yes, I knew that, but I always get the Taurus and the Tempo confused because and they're kind of similar too. The
Well,
Taurus
I
is
was
like
going
the
to say this because
evolution
they
of the
look
Tempo.
alike and they're both shitty.
Yeah.
You're right.
Yeah. Were they out at the same time or?
Yes, they
They
were.
okay.
Oh, the Tempo. God, what a disaster.
That was the most mall cop looking cop car I've ever seen.
Oh, they were terrible. I mean, my God, man, there was. I thought we were gonna dig into the cast a little bit more, but I feel like we're on it, so we should kind of talk about the stupid things in this movie.
Yeah,
and the
why
crappy
not?
futuristic things in this movie, and that was the most pathetic futuristic cop car probably ever in a movie, and. I think it's only because the movie's so great and classic that I just excuse it every time and laugh at it at the same time. But man, what a bad choice.
It's not a bad guess though, because like whatever corporation's taking over, they'd be looking to cut dollars, and
Yeah.
Also it smacks of like, I don't know, maybe it was just because of the age I was or whatever, but I feel like I mean, cops drive different things in different places, but where I grew up in Connecticut, they were driving Crown Vics for so long, and the Crown Victoria looked pretty much the same for so long that, in the future, I can imagine Verhoeven being like, no, it's the Tempo because, they're going to adopt that in 10 years, but they're just going to keep making it the same way,
Yeah.
It smacks of that sort of.
It does. And you know what, Ben? I mean, interestingly enough, to put like a sort of serious spin on it, like, he really wasn't far off, if that's what he was thinking, because what they did do was they went from the Vic down to the updated Taurus, essentially. So they did, in fact, downsize it to a smaller car, just not a lame Tempo. The Taurus cruisers are pretty dope looking. What?
Nothing.
Are you Ben? Are you thinking about that Corsica we were driving around Hyannis in? Is that what you're thinking about?
No, but now I am.
With the red velour.
Dude, I miss red velour interiors. Man, I had a car that had
God,
red
I know,
velour.
right? Cozy and smelly and
I
wonderful.
felt like I bought it off of Barry and Levon.
There you go.
The ultimate in comfort.
The ultimate in luxury.
Oh, yeah.
The sunroof in red velvet interior.
The new Ford Tempo with real plastic radio. Good times. Folks, this episode is brought to you by the Ford Tempo.
The Ford Motor Company.
So anyway, that was a terrible, terrible choice as a police car. The 6000 SUX was great as like really, as Ben said, just a kit bashing, like purposely making it look stupid and crappily futuristic. I thought was brilliant. One of the other things too that I just loved, man, was it was one of these.
The red velvet stuff that you were talking about a minute ago reminded me of something I saw where I guess the Robocop suit didn't fit in the car. So whenever Robocop's in a car, Weller was shirt cocking and was just sitting in his underwear. And I love the idea of him just like sitting in a red velvet interior with a Robocop torso on.
I love it.
Yep. Just the upper.
You mean so you're talking like, I'm just trying to paint the picture in my head. He's sitting in the car with the velour. He's got the Robocop top on, and then from the waist down, it's just like pair of tighty whities and
I don't know.
socks.
It would
That's
have to be tighty whities probably, but
I think it would be fitting if it was tighty whities.
I don't know. It could be like OCP brand boxers.
I don't know. Does Weller strike you as a tighty whities kind of guy?
No, he's probably more boxers.
I bet he's boxers.
But they'd be like OCP issued boxers with like the OCP logo on them or something.
There you go. Yeah,
Ooh.
like a Under Armour kind of thing.
Yeah.
I was thinking little OCP logos, like a paisley sort of pattern.
Yeah. Yeah.
But with OCP, little, OCP hexagons. Yeah.
There you go, man. I like it. like a tartan OCP pattern. There you go.
Yeah. Yeah. Like, tartan was the, what do you call them? Not Chuck Connors at one time. Fuck, what did you call those?
It was Chuck Connors.
No, it was Chuck Connors because they're called Chuck Taylors, but I said Chuck Connors.
Yeah.
Chuck Connors. Dude.
That was
One of
our
the best
all-time
moments in
greats.
show history.
Excellent. So to jump back to where I left off, I was talking about we were talking about kind of the futuristic sort of things that they put into this movie, and one of them that I just absolutely love because it's one of these things like we've talked about before where it was like, how can we make this more futuristic? I know in the future they'll use square disposable coffee cups instead of round ones, and it'll blow everybody's mind. Like when they walk out with those, when she walks out with those two coffees and the quasi squarish cups, I was just like, come on, you've got to be kidding me.
And then they get a call and they both just like chuck them over their shoulders.
Oh yeah, in very 80s fashion.
Yeah.
Let's just throw our trash on the ground. Gotta love that.
Let's go get a coffee and flirt. The dude's spinning his gun and so cheese stick.
We'll talk about TJ Laser.
I'd buy that for $1.
Yeah. Talk about things, the quote unquote impressive things from the future. The TV show his kid loves is TJ Laser.
TJ Laser.
Whoa.
That's a decent segue into all the short commercial-y stuff in this. It's a weird yet welcome addition to the film, I think.
I agree. And I think I remembered that there was a ton of that in here. I mean, this is a Verhoeven movie, so he tends to do stuff like that. And I love that. But the whole Dave, I'd buy that for $1, like literally everybody was watching that in any scene where somebody was watching TV. And I loved it. We got to see so much of it. And I remember it being less, so I was glad to see more of it.
All the weird shit, all the news sequences. I really kind of...
Oh, yeah.
It's this dumbest little thing, but I liked the initial news sequence where it was like a Brady Bunch kind of bunch of different Hollywood squares, but it's just like zoomed in on their noses and eyes, and then it kind of like zooms out. I just love that little cheese dicky thing.
Yeah, I think I know what you're talking about.
It's just the...
What are you saying? Like when they would zoom in on the newscasters themselves?
Yeah. It's like a mosaic of eyes and noses of the male and female newscasters just over and over again, and then they zoom out.
Oh yes,
Yeah.
yes. It was like a graphic. Yeah.
They're like, today a bunch of people died in a horrible way. Anyways, we don't fucking care. Next story. It's like, perfect.
Time for the puff piece.
I like the way. I mean, that's such a Verhoeven thing to do, man. Is to use kind of the news feed to kind of move the story along, or paint more of the world. Like so. I dug it because it was pretty gruesome, man. Like all the stories and like the stories that they would talk about from other parts of the world made it kind of very downtrodden and dystopian in a way.
It's such a like easy way to do exposition, but I prefer it to like the fucking Galadriel 7-minute fucking bullshit exposition stuff, Like I'd rather just watch some news clips, like District 9 in the opening was the same thing.
Yeah, that's what I mean.
Give me a couple news clips, get me up to speed, fucking I'll have a square cup of coffee and blow somebody's arm off, whatever. Let's do it.
Yeah, I mean, I think, other people may disagree, but I think it's a clever way to kind of, give some world building and some backstory in a film or a television program, and not do exactly what you said, where you have a character sitting there explaining it in exposition for 7 minutes straight, or having some text on the screen or whatever.
Yeah.
Because it's like integrated into the film, the story, the TV show, whatever. You know what I mean? So it flows better.
Yeah.
And I mean, Casey Wong, just so unforgettable, man. Like I just never ever forgot that guy. Like it was such like a let's be futuristic and blend people together kind of thing. So I don't know. I dug it.
Yeah. What were the other ones?
Yeah.
I was just gonna say we never know what the name of that show is. At least I don't remember it ever being said, but I'd buy that for $1 with Dave.
The character is apparently Bixby Snyder.
Really?
The character or the actor?
So it says SD Nemeth as Bixby. Oh, I'm sorry. No, yeah.
That's a great name.
The character.
But she calls him Dave in one of the clips. That's why I keep calling him Dave.
I don't know why, but
I like Bixby Snyder better.
I read a whole thing on it. There was supposed to be a lot more with it, and there was supposed to be some scandal involving like that guy, like, or, you know, the actor in that show having like slept with an underage, you know, politician's daughter or something. Like, there was supposed to be some whole thing there, but they still ended up using a ton of it anyways.
That's so random. There's a whole third act or fourth act, but instead they just kept the "I'd buy that for $1" like 6 times. I fucking love that.
I know. He also went on to do Lobster Man from Mars 2 years later, that guy.
Oh, I mean, how could you turn that down?
There you go, right?
I think he was also supposed to end up being the president in, like, you know, one of the drafts for one of the further, you know, for one of the sequels.
Oh, really?
Oh, my God.
Mm-hmm.
That kind of works.
Wow.
I suppose at the time, too, it's very Reagan.
I'll buy that for $1.
It's very Reagan-esque, you know, an actor going on to politics or something. That's funny.
Yeah, no doubt. Very Reagan-esque. What else? What else that was like futuristic dumb in this movie? Or futuristic great, or both?
Futuristic dumb. Futuristic great, man. That costume holds up like a motherfucker. The Robocop costume.
You talking about Robocop?
Yeah, dude.
Yes.
That was awesome. Like, they did a great job. I had completely forgotten that. It's a small detail, but I had completely forgotten that he has no nose, and I thought that was a great piece of design. It's covered up by the visor.
Yeah, I agree.
I kind of want Geordi Laforge to dress up as Robocop for Halloween one year, too.
That'd be interesting.
In, like, a mashup.
Now I kind of want to Photoshop a nose onto RoboCop.
Yeah.
Ooh.
Could be done.
Like make the mask so that it goes up over the nose.
There'd be you got a lot of options just right there. You could Photoshop a LaForge with a RoboCop helmet. You could do a nose on a RoboCop. There's a lot going on there.
It's an awesome costume, though.
No, it really is, man. I mean, they clearly put in the energy there, and it paid off. I thought it was fantastic, man. Really, really well done. I also think that, like, in terms of, like, you know, kind of science fiction, like the tech was very sort of the time, maybe just slightly ahead, you know, but I thought it fit really well with everything in there, you know, like the kind of the LCD overlays in his visor, and like the way he would interface with the computer, and, you know, how the computer systems worked. Like, it was all very sort of the time, but plausible. You know what I mean? Which I dug, because, like, you know, Strange Days by comparison, you know, I was talking about that was like my one major sort of gripe with the whole movie.
Yeah, I kind of like that it didn't go full Terminator with it, but they did kind of have some of that, you know, the infrared stuff and the, like, weird MS-DOS green text on the sides and stuff. I liked the weird overlay stuff too. Like his vision being like a TV screen kind of looking thing, CRT looking thing.
Right, yeah, they're like scam lines in his vision.
Please put down your weapon. You have 20 seconds to comply.
What about the rabid cocaine use in this movie?
Oh, so 80s.
So funny, man. Everybody's just fucking doing blow.
Constant blow doing. It was great.
I think my favorite instance of cocaine, though, was in the cocaine factory when the shoot 'em up starts and two henchmen just, like, it looks like they just grab fistfuls of cocaine and just throw it all over their faces just for, like, war paint or something.
Yes.
But the cocaine factory stuff was great too.
It was, and that thing you're talking about, Chad, it was kind of reminiscent of Predator 2, when those dudes just, like, put piles of snow into their faces, man, and just went mental and then started shooting everybody.
Yeah.
Right?
No doubt.
It's like they were from the same gang or something, man.
I don't know. It's a toss up for me between you know, Bob Morton snorting it off the prostitutes, and the prostitutes, like, both trying to, like, get his attention by putting cocaine in different areas of their bodies.
Yeah, you gotta love that. That's so. I mean, it's funny because all he does is talk about how intelligent they are and how that turns him on.
Yeah.
And then the chick is like, sometimes I just have a thought and I just get so horny. It's like, really? A thought about what? Quantum physics or like paying your taxes? Or, well, you're a prostitute, so you probably don't pay taxes, but maybe going down to the clinic or getting a shot. Is that too much?
Maybe a little.
Well, it's a toss up between that scene and it's not Coke, but it's clear that Clarence Boddicker is such a cokehead that he can't even drink wine. He has to like dip his fingers in it and snort it.
Oh yeah,
my God, that was the best. Well, there's so much going on in that whole section. It's like you got Sal walking around.
Yeah, I just love putting shit in my nose. Sorry.
Well, plus you got Sal walking around with a glass of wine like he's strolling through his vineyard, like looking at all of his grapes. But it's like, dude, you don't own a vineyard. You own a scuzzy Coke processing warehouse in scuzzy old Detroit. Like what's with the wine,
It was kind of refreshing that the whole bad guy thing here was just guys wanting to make money selling Coke, and it wasn't fucking, Thanos trying to rule the universe or some shit. The guy just hates cops and wants to make money. That's the whole motivation. It's like, that's refreshing.
Hates cops, loves Coke, loves to sell Coke.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I mean, there's also the upper, OCP trying to basically fucking wrecking ball Detroit and rebuild it as Delta City. So
yeah.
It's like all those dudes are on the payroll to like keep the crime wave fucking going,
Shake shit up.
Oh my God, yeah. Maybe we could be friends after all, Dick.
Dude, I had a
What?
Bitches leave.
similar to my having a weird attitude towards Tom Sizemore because of his character in Strange Days. I definitely had like a weird attitude towards Kurtwood Smith. Because of his role as Clarence Boddicker in this. Like,
yes, definitely, man.
Yeah.
Yeah, he was definitely up there as like those people you quote unquote hate because they did such a good job with the character.
Yeah.
Yeah, he was that guy for me for a while. It took a few seasons of that 70s show to like clear my palate.
I didn't put two and two together until I was reading IMDb today that he was Red from that 70s show. Like, that was amazing.
Oh yeah, man. I just love him, man. I think he's fantastic. And I wrote in my notes, like, he is such an excellent villain. And one of the sort of a sub comment is like, one of the things that's great about this movie is that there's two villains. We get Ronnie Cox and we get Clarence Boddicker. And it's like one works for the other, but they're almost on the same level in terms of their malevolence. They just kind of go about it different ways. So I think Kurtwood Smith as Clarence he's definitely up there in like the pantheon of all-time great, maybe sort of street-level villains. He's just sort of merciless and sadistic and fantastic, man, and he just fucking sells it so well, man. Even watching it twice this week, I was just like, still got it, man. Like it didn't fade with age or anything. It was great.
Not at all.
You look like he was having a good time too.
Exactly.
How could you not?
Would have been a lot of fun, no doubt.
Yeah, no doubt, man. I mean, just the whole thing blowing away Murphy and just everything that he does, man. He had it down.
This is totally.
He was with the secretary, the whole thing.
I apologize in advance, Benny, but it kind of reminds me how he chucked one of his henchmen out the truck onto the windshield. It was like, sorry, Billy. It kind of reminded me of Heath Ledger's Joker a little bit.
Oh, no doubt. Can you fly, Bobby?
It's just like, I just kind of love in those kind of moments where so often all the other henchmen are like, that's funny. And it's just like, bro, that could have been you. Like, this doesn't seem overly cool, but okay, let's throw Bobby out the truck.
Well, I think it was also, I feel like it was like one of the first times we really saw like a guy like that was that sadistic, like, oh, you burned all the money? Well, now I'm going to throw you out the back of the freaking van, like I remember thinking that was really awful and he was really scary, for doing those things.
It's pretty funny.
Burn the fucking money.
It's pretty funny though. You told me to blow the door. I blew the door. What?
Hey, you told me. Now you say doot.
Dude.
Hey, you told me to blow the door, Clarence. Now you say doot.
Fuck me, man. Those guys are having way too much fun shooting cops and
I loved it.
toting their shotties around.
I loved it. I thought they were great. Like they really did a great job of like sort of selling the sadistic quality, you know, like with like Clarence, you know, but at the same time, like, you know, you kind of get a glimpse of them as a unit and into their little world, you know.
Anybody seen Richie? Huh?
Yeah, it reminded me of like a good version of the dudes from the Seagal movie that we watched. What was the Seagal movie that we watched?
Out for Justice.
Out for Justice. Back for Donuts. What? Out for Justice.
Back for Donuts. Yes.
Out for donuts.
What was it, like Bobby Lupo or something? What was the name of the kid? The fucking
Yeah. It was
psycho?
Bobby Lupo.
Bobby Lupo.
Bobby Lupo. Yeah.
Oh, the psycho was William Forsythe. It was Richie Madano.
Richie. Like, I loved him in that, and he was crazy and whatever, but this whole gang here would fit there too. Like, they just had so much fun fucking around.
The Out for Justice guys, those guys were like knockoffs.
Exactly.
I agree.
Yeah, I never really thought about it, but now that like we've clearly spent a lot of time talking about these guys, like they're a really important part of the movie and like almost
Exactly.
kind of steal the show in a certain way because RoboCop is just so like, well, he's RoboCop.
Yeah.
You know, he's monotone and, you know, like it seems like almost all of the comic relief comes from like the, you know, wacky fucking cocaine psychosis fueled fucking pack of hyenas that, you know,
Yeah.
are running around the city causing chaos.
No doubt.
Well, in many ways, it does, man. I think like I think it would work better, Chad, if we took Richie Madano and put him in this gang with these guys. I think that would be a great fit,
I'd do
as
that.
opposed to like those guys being like Richie's gang, you know? Because like Ben said, like the gang that Richie had, like they weren't that committed, and they were kind of wimpy. You know, Richie would fit in great with these guys.
Richie would. I would love to see, you know, they've got like Dredd versus Aliens comic books and Batman versus Superman. I want to see Richie versus RoboCop as like a fucking one-shot comic book. I'd watch the shit out of that.
I would too, man. I like it.
I'd read the shit out of that.
Fuck that, man. You know, Clarence Boddicker and Richie would like immediately be like, there's only enough room in town for one of us.
Yeah.
Totally.
And they would immediately just sit down and have like a coke snorting contest. And the first one that keeled over and had a heart attack, you know,
That's
that would
it.
be the loser.
Is the loser. The winner gets Detroit.
It's like the Delta City Showdown.
So just to be clear, Ben, that's Richie versus Boddicker.
Yes.
Yes. I love it. That would be, they're talking about a great spin-off movie, Boddicker versus Richie Madano. That'd be awesome.
That would be good.
Forsyth and Kurtwood Smith.
We're on to something.
Richie never gets killed. Okay? He never actually died. And then he left town. He left New York, ended up in old Detroit, started building up a new empire. Boom. Runs into Boddicker. There's your storyline right there.
There it is. I'm in.
Shit, he might win because he was smoking crack, right?
Yeah, he didn't give a fuck.
No, he did not.
Does that increase your like your tolerance?
Yeah, totally. He just fucking didn't give a fuck. I could totally see him
Crackhead
just like,
have higher cocaine tolerance than a regular coke snorter, or is it, you know?
you would think.
Sorry.
Don't be. That's what makes it fun.
It gives me great pleasure to introduce you to the future of law enforcement.
So we kind of got lost in that Richie Madano cul-de-sac. What were we talking about? Oh, we were talking about the gang members.
Still.
Still, yeah.
The scene where they're standing in the street, like shooting up TVs and shooting up fucking video stores and stuff, like that was just perfectly encapsulated those knuckleheads. They were having such a good time.
Yeah, it was a little somewhat confusing that all of a sudden there was like an LA-sized riot going on in Detroit, like for I don't know what reason. What was the reason? Were the cops
strike.
on strike, or is that what it was?
Cops were on strike, yeah.
Okay. I guess there was a reason after all. And I'm dead. Because I'm dumb.
This causing trouble for the sake of causing trouble. Emil smashes the fucking window with a Jack bottle just so he can turn the volume up. It's great.
Oh, that was great, man. And if anybody had walked by and bothered him, he'd probably just have shot him.
Mm-hmm.
Since we've basically been talking about the gang and we haven't moved on to anybody but Clarence and Richie Madano, let's move on to the rest of the cast.
Yeah, go for it.
Let's start with Ronnie Cox. Since we're talking about bad guys, let's talk about Ronnie Cox, because Ronnie Cox, he had just a string of awesome roles around this time. We obviously Captain Bogomil in Beverly Hills Cop 1 and 2,
Yep.
where he was a good guy but a hard ass, and then he was, he played Cohagen in Total Recall, which came out, I think, the same year as this, and then
90.
90. Okay, a couple years afterward, but whatever. I mean, my God, 2 excellent villain roles for such a terrific actor.
Yeah, no doubt, man. He's great.
Fantastic, man. He seems like such a nice guy, or he looks like he would be a nice guy, but man, he can dial the evil up to like 12, dude.
Dick Jones. Yeah, his little the little intimidation scene with Bob Morton is fucking classic.
In the bathroom where he
Totally.
starts pulling his hair.
Yeah.
That was great.
Yeah.
Yeah, same again. It looked like that would have been a lot of fun. I think playing a bad guy in a movie would be just tons of fun.
I've only ever heard that it was like just the most miserable fucking filming ever. Like it was a hate fest.
You mean in RoboCop?
Yeah.
In terms of what?
It was just apparently a miserable hate fest. Like it was, they filmed it in, I think, Dallas, and it was like fucking ridiculously hot. And,
Oh, God, that's terrible.
just Verhoeven's direction style and, what they wanted out of the movie. Like it was just, there was a lot of tension and, hostility on the set, apparently.
I believe it.
Well, maybe it wasn't fun then. I think it would still be pretty fun. The guys did a good job. Both of them did a good job.
I think it would be fun too, but
Bad boys have all the fun.
There you go.
yeah, that sounds pretty beat. It would be. I'd be more happy if I knew they were having fun filming this, but that sounds like a nightmare.
Turned out a hell of a movie, though.
Yeah, they sure did, man. Yeah, Ronnie Cox really just sells it beautifully, and you're right. The scene with Miguel Ferrer or Morton is fantastic. Even the video message that he gets later on DVD is great.
I love that.
Oh, God.
I love
Yeah.
that he's like, sends his henchman with video evidence to his house. It's like, what are you fucking thinking, bro? It's so perfect.
No, really just like so he can, gloat.
Oh, totally.
Remotely.
Yeah, I think that that was probably the one large major hole in this story. It was just that, RoboCop records everything, so you may not want to send a Hallmark message of evil on a DVD with Clarence Boddicker,
I loved it, though.
It's so good.
I'll give you anything you want. Just please don't kill me. All
Miguel
right?
Ferrer was awesome, too, man.
Fantastic.
I had totally forgotten about that dude, but I remember him from a bunch of stuff.
Yeah, me too. And I thought he was great in this movie. I loved him when I saw it back in the 80s. I thought he was perfect, kind of young, hothead, punky, kind of, try to get ahead guy.
Yeah. He's right up there in the pantheon of douchey coke head execs.
Oh, yeah, he's definitely up there, man. I think that it's kind of interesting because you kind of root for him, You're like, yeah, because he's like, he's the guy that made RoboCop. But then at the same time, like when Boddicker just shoots his legs to shit and then drops a grenade in his lap, you're like oddly satisfied at the same time.
Totally.
Mm-hmm.
Speaking of dumb future tech, the fucking grenade with like a fucking Timex wristwatch on the top of it that counts down. That was so good.
That was fantastic.
In the future, hand grenades will have digital readouts.
Yeah. In the future, grenades last 5 minutes.
Yeah.
Cool.
Am I right? Hans. Booby. I'm your white knight.
Yeah, he's like right up there with the douchey exec from Die Hard.
Oh, yeah. Get me some Coke, and he gets a can of Coke.
There's another great Coke off.
You guys got any Coke?
Oh, what? Ellis versus Morton?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, that is a good one, man. Robocop.
Hans.
Booby.
Thank you.
No, he'd probably be like Clarence. Booby. Come on.
I'm
let's your
make a
white
deal.
knight. This guy running around in the robot suit, I can give him to you.
All right, I'm gonna drop this nugget now because it's perfect timing. The sound crew evidently went to a gun range in Texas and recorded a whole new library of gunshot sound effects just for this movie.
Ooh.
And the entire library of sound effects recorded for this movie was used a year later for Die Hard.
Is that right?
So all the gunshots from this movie were used in Die Hard. Booby.
Wow, that is an excellent nugget.
Now I want Ellis to be in this fictional movie that we're coming up with too.
Is this fictional movie like over the top for movie cokeheads?
Yeah,
it's kind of like that. Yeah,
yeah.
We've got some ultimate Coke matchups: Boddicker, Madano. You got Ellis versus Morton. Ellis versus Morton.
This is a single elimination.
Double elimination challenge.
There you go. Nice. Both of you at the same time. That's like a Jinx, you owe me a Coke kind of situation. What's the EBD version of that?
You owe me some Coke.
Jinx, you owe me some Coke. That's perfect. It's so dumb and so great. Jinx, you owe me a pound of Coke.
Yeah.
That's funny. All right, we talked about Boddicker. We talked about Ronnie Cox. Emil, most of the gang members, I think, ad nauseum. Should we talk about Murphy? Are we there yet?
Dead or alive, you're coming with...
Yeah, man. Weller.
Mm-hmm.
Weller. Guy is just awesome. Such an excellent actor, and he's got a really interesting, cool face. And I think that lower half of his face is half of what makes RoboCop look so badass and iconic. I don't know. It's like when that other guy came in for the third movie, and it's like it wasn't the same, man. It's like you need that Weller mouth to really for it to be RoboCop in my brain anyway.
Yeah,
definitely.
Yeah.
His voice is a huge part of it too.
Well, that's what I mean. That too.
He's got a unique voice, and the RoboCop character, he's kind of delivering things very, even and monotone, but something about his voice itself really lends something to the character. I think they're really intertwined for me.
Yeah.
I'm always thinking, dead or alive, you're coming with me.
Yep.
That kind of shit.
Yeah, no, it's very Weller, man. Yeah. I agree with you. They're totally intertwined. It's like the voice and the lower half of his face.
I've been kind of daydreaming just now about what if Beastmaster was RoboCop? I think Mark Singer could have done it, and maybe Maax is around too. Rip Torn, I don't know. I'm sorry. I'm kind of I wouldn't call it an ejection death. It was like a daydream death.
You're ejecting. You're totally ejecting.
I didn't eject. I was just kind of daydreaming about Beastmaster being RoboCop and having or whatever is fucking. Maybe it's because we were talking about the tiger with the scope earlier or something. I don't know.
I want to mark that as a death, but it's kind of not. It's pretty awesome. So just listening to you try to pronounce the tiger's name was worthy of it not being a death.
I do love Weller though. I wasn't familiar with him in a lot of other stuff. I definitely knew him from Naked Lunch, but
I think Peter Weller would probably shoot you for even bringing that up. By the way,
I agree.
What, Naked Lunch?
No, Beastmaster, Mark Singer playing RoboCop.
Oh yeah. No, it's fair enough. I'll take an actual Peter Weller death for that. He would kill me for insulting his performance.
I've seen some some interviews and there's one I think they're talking about this movie. It's sometimes they do a showing of a movie and then they'll have an actor or the director or somebody afterwards talk about it. There's a pretty extensive one on there. This is definitely one of those roles that he really owns, and he's kind of pissy about other people doing it,
Right.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
Yeah, because he put a lot into it, man.
Yeah,
all
he sure
the
did.
all the physical work and wanting to move that way, and all of his input there, and a pretty heavy duty role.
Yeah, no doubt.
Considering, I mean,
the movement was amazing, like absolutely amazing. It's one of the few things that stuck with me from when I saw this as like a 10-year-old was the way that he moved, and like his head or torso would turn before his legs. Like it was just such a cool style.
No, he really sold it, man. It was fantastic. Everything about it was just great. You really can't put anybody else in the suit, man, and have it be as iconic as Weller. I think Joel Kinnaman did a great job in 2014, but it ain't the same thing.
No, I like Joel Kinnaman, but I don't know. I kind of I don't remember the remake of RoboCop so thoroughly that I'm confusing it with the Colin Farrell Total Recall reboot. Like that's how little I give a shit about it. I just don't remember it.
Well, it's way better than the Total Recall Colin Farrell. So
miles.
Yeah, exactly.
Miles ahead, yeah.
By many Delta cities. I think, another great, this is really for the two of you, well, really for the folks at home too, kind of an under-the-radar 80s movie, but one that I really like, okay? And it's a Peter Weller movie, and he teams up with Sam Elliott in this film, and it's called Shakedown, and it's about a district attorney, and a burned-out detective, and they take down this entire crooked cop drug ring, coke ring, I'm sure, I don't remember exactly, in this film, and it's fantastic. I love it, man. I love it so much. I think I want to watch it tonight, and dude, I think we should do it in the future.
I've never heard of this movie, and that mustache on the poster is just
awesome, right?
My God.
Mm-hmm. I mean, the mustaches alone are enough for us to warrant not only a film, but choosing it as an episode, but having a Steak and Mustaches episode within that.
I'm on board, man.
We'll put it on the list.
Put it on the list.
Mustaches.
So, were you going to say something about Naked Lunch?
No, I just couldn't remember. I just couldn't remember him in anything else other than Naked Lunch, Weller.
Well, yeah.
I never saw Buckaroo Bonzai, or if I did, I don't remember it at all.
Screamers was really good. That was an interesting movie.
Mm-hmm.
I think it was just a touch too young. I don't know. Whatever.
Maybe he did a lot of this is one of his most mainstream films, and then he didn't do a lot of stuff quite like that, I think, going on. He's been working forever. He's also a professor, if I'm remembering correctly.
Really?
Yeah, similar to Avery Brooks from DS9. He started teaching as well.
Speaking of Star Trek, didn't he play Admiral Pike?
I think he did.
Ben, it's funny that you say that because he did. Actually, in all seriousness, I was just scrolling through his IMDb while we were chatting a minute ago, and he actually was a character on Star Trek Enterprise, which I know you were a fan of.
Really? He was on it. Well, he was in the second reboot movie into Dark, the one with Khan, I think, or was it?
You're right. He was he wasn't Admiral Pike, but he was the main admiral in that, who had the dreadnought ship or whatever.
Exactly. Yeah.
Oh shit, you're right about that.
Yeah.
Yeah, Admiral Pike.
Oops. That's another death for old
Yeah,
Jeff.
Admiral Pike.
Yeah. Come on.
Yeah, Admiral Pike. Duh.
Not Admiral Pike, but he was an admiral. He was great in that too.
He was excellent. Admiral Weller Death. That's what I'm putting down for that one. Star Trek Enterprise. He played John Frederick Paxton, whoever that is, in 2 episodes. And then we got him
Bill
in...
Paxton's descendant.
Great grandson.
Yeah.
Yeah, Admiral Marcus in Into Darkness, yeah. That was good. He was great in that.
I love how far down some random rabbit hole we are.
This is bad. This is one of our we haven't had a random rabbit hole succession quite like this in a long time.
Can we move on to the steel plant mud puddle Toxic Avenger sequence at the end? Because I think it's
yes we can.
I don't know. It kind of gives me a Raw Deal vibe where Arnie's driving around the fucking sand pit And then, like, the dude's in the crane, and he drops the steel, and then gets fucking shot with the exploding missile cannon. And like, there's just so much goodness in this whole sequence.
I agree. Yeah, there's definitely a bit of a Raw Deal vibe going on there as well, a little bit.
This is a tiny bit after they shoot Gerber baby food, and he gives himself a little Tin Man tune-up.
Yeah. Exactly right. Tin Man tune-up with his little 3-in-1 oil can.
Like a pair of pliers dug into his knee. And there's just so much good stuff.
I have one quick little gripes of Kev kind of thing here. Why were the screws that held his helmet on so fucking long?
Dude, they were like 16-inch. Like,
I didn't get that either, man. They must have just about touched in the middle, Ben.
yeah.
Right. Well, that's what I'm saying. It seems like they were almost too long to fit that way. You know what I mean?
Like, there's
like
not
they would have like if you drive one all the way in, the other like you couldn't sink it all the way, kind of a thing.
Yeah, exactly. Like there's not enough physical material to put it into, man. It's physics, baby.
I
It
really
just
like
doesn't
that.
work.
I like that. I like to look at her face when he's pulling a fucking 3.5-inch bolt out of his side of his head. She was just kind of like, whoa, all right, that's the thing.
Yeah, I thought that was super weird too. But I let's see. I don't know. The end scene is very typical kind of showdowny. You know what I mean? Like,
definitely.
You know, he gets the drop on him. I mean, the one difference between this RoboCop and the 2014 RoboCop is that, and it's somewhat of a kind of gripe, I guess. I don't know if I thought of this back when I was a kid, but you would kind of think that like a robot would be faster, more agile, and would be able to like jump really high. Now they incorporated that into the Joel Kinnaman version, but in this one they don't.
So
he's kind of like slow and armored, like with like good strength.
He's
right?
a total tank.
So,
I mean,
he is a total tank. I don't know what you're laughing at, but just go ahead.
To be fair, like if you think about the robot arm from Innerspace and like their frustration with its movement, and that's kind of like what you're dealing with for 80s robotics.
Yes.
They weren't envisioning like fucking Boston Dynamics,
right?
Atlas robot doing backflips and shit. Like,
yeah, no, not quite. Well, I think that was part of what was funny was because like in the end shootout, like he gets the drop on him right from the get go, right? But like it seemed like there were like 3 or 4 instances where he was like turning his head and turning his body, and he was like inches out of the way, and then a massive explosion would hit. Like like it was all like perfectly timed because he's so slow moving. I don't know if I'm laying this out the right way, but I think you might get what I'm saying. Like,
yeah, no doubt. Yeah,
like everything missed him, even though he can't move fast. Like his timing was superior.
He's like 3POing around, like
exactly, man, exactly. Like he didn't have the ability to like leap up 2 stories or whatever, and that was fine. But it was just amazing, like how he never got a scratch in that fight.
Looks like I'll have to take the stairs.
3 hours later. He's merp, merp, merp.
Like even at the end when he comes out for Clarence.
I'm coming for you, Clarence. Hold on, just let me find a handicap ramp.
Like he must have started going towards the scuzzy pool of water where Clarence was, like, probably 15 minutes before they crashed, because it would take him that long to get there. Like he just comes walking through the water. Clarence, I just got here.
Please stop shooting my partner.
Exactly.
I loved how Joey Buttafuoco was up in the crane tower, though. That was just...
Yeah, that was good.
Playing the fucking crane game.
That was part of what gave it its Raw Deal kind of feel.
No doubt. And then Lewis is just like splashing along trying to get the sniper rifle. But like, I don't know. This is totally gripes of Kev, but Robocop and Clarence are kind of about to have a showdown, and Lewis is supposed to be dead in the corner because she got shot in the shoulder or whatever. And then she just like fucking soldier of fortune kind of crawls Tough Mudder style through the mud for like 20 yards to that gun. There's nothing quiet about that. He would just would have turned around and been like, oh, and just popped her one in the head, you know? But I get such a kick out of that.
Yeah, I agree with you. That was like what my brother and I would call a last bit of strength moment, you know? Like we always used to do that, like back in the 80s, like, you know, she's like, must reach gun, shoot Joey Buttafuoco.
Over here.
You know, like that.
Yeah, well, Alex up in the crane missed it because he was masturbating to a little doll of Lara Croft. He's like, oh yeah, Laura, you want to explore my underpants?
I love that. And I love that joke more for people that don't get the reference than people that do get the reference. That's so good.
That is good, man. Yeah, so a lot of great things going on there. I like it. I like his little kind of knuckle spike that he has, and I like how that's how he guts Clarence.
Yep.
You know, after he gets the spike in the shoulder, or this pry bar in the shoulder. I don't believe that Clarence would have the strength to penetrate his unbelievable bulletproof armor, but still, it worked good.
Sure.
Must have had some coke strength going on there.
Yeah, he had some coke strength, man. He smoked crack, Joe Rogan.
Cocaine-fueled rage. I love that Robocop screams out in pain when he's getting stabbed in the shoulder. It's like, dude, you're
a robot, bro.
Yeah, there's no flesh in there, man.
Yeah, I don't. That was a little weird. There's a lot of little weirdisms there that I'll save those for bits and bobs.
Well, let's do bits and bobs then.
Well, are we done with the end? I mean, The end is like, again, like the movie wraps itself up pretty nicely. It's like, you know, he goes back to the corporate building and takes one of those massive, ridiculous guns, blows Ed 209 away, which was awesome.
So good.
Toe twitching and everything. And then we get, you know, Dick Jones gets fired and he blows him out the window.
Dude, I so forgot the fired thing, and it's so dumb and so perfect.
I thought it was kind of awesome and dumb at the same time.
That's what I mean, yeah.
You know, like the old guy kind of like finally got it.
A little bit of a gotcha.
You're fired.
Yeah. Thank you.
You know, thank you for your cooperation. Go Robo.
Didn't the old corporate exec guy kind of remind you a little bit of Commandant Lassard from?
Oh,
yes,
hell yeah!
He definitely was like a more serious version of Lassard from Police Academy. Yeah,
definitely. That's so funny you should say that, because this totally, I don't know, I kind of got a little bit of a Police Academy vibe from this movie for some reason.
I can see that, man. There's what is it? Dustings and little flavorings here and there.
Yeah.
You know, now I'm thinking about George Lassard as the old man, Ben.
Lassard is the old man.
I love Lassard.
Michael Winslow is like in the locker room when Robocop comes in and he starts walking behind him like, nerd, nerd, nerd.
Totally, man. Or Lassard's at the head of the boardroom table. He's like, here at OCP, we have many, many, many fine programs. Like Ed 209 or Robocop.
I miss Police Academy. It's been so long.
We've got to get down with Police Academy at some point.
Yeah, that must happen.
I'd buy that for $1.
Anyway, so that's the end of our film. Should we move into bits and bobs, or do you guys have anything else about the end?
Feel like we're already there.
All right, who wants to go?
I don't know if I have any bits and bobs. The Toxic Avenger dude we talked about before, but that's definitely something worth bringing up again. Mutant thing makeup. Ron Howard,
brilliant,
with a fucking mohawk, getting annihilated by the car was just hilarious.
And I love how the head just slides right over the trunk, right up the windshield, right over the roof, like off the car.
So
like,
good.
It was poetry and gruesome motion.
Yeah.
So disgusting and so funny.
It's so great. And I think that, again, hats off to Rob Bottin, who did the makeup work on The Thing. He just did a fantastic job on Emil and RoboCop. Like, I didn't know he did all that. And, not surprised that the work is so damn good.
I just love that there just happens to be a giant container of toxic waste that's labeled toxic waste.
Yeah, totally.
You know.
Is that what it was?
Yeah. It just says toxic waste on the side of it. I suppose I didn't pay close enough attention to how funny that is, but that was such a thing in the 80s.
I didn't either. That's funny.
Toxic waste drum just sitting there next to the driveway. It washes through the van, and the dude turns into the goddamn swamp thing in 15 seconds. So fucking stupid, but it's so fucking glorious.
Scares the shit out of grandma's boy.
Well, yeah, I mean that literally colored what I thought of toxic waste for like the rest of my kid life.
Pretty much.
Like my feeling about toxic waste was if you got anything on you or were near it, you were going to turn into a meal, basically.
Or a Ninja Turtle, either way.
Yes.
Or Megan Fox.
Totally, man.
So yeah, Tackleberry aside, I derailed you. What were you going to say?
I was just going to say I really liked the scene where they bring RoboCop into the police station. Like it was really well done. Like they just showed enough of him and only the back of him. You know, that you were as excited and the anticipation was the same as the cops that were running through the building, you know, like, so there's like 1, 2, maybe 3 where we see like his shoulder and then the back of his head. And you're just like, my God, man, show him, you know, because during the genesis of RoboCop, like we never get to see him either. So I really liked how they did the reveal, you know, it was really well done. Like a nice amount of ramp up to that.
Yeah, agreed. It was definitely a don't show the monster kind of thing.
Yeah, exactly. I just thought it was really great.
Yeah, and sort of reveal in the shooting range.
Yeah, that was cool.
That too.
I haven't seen a good shooting range scene in a while. That was such a trope in cop movies.
Oh, totally. Certainly in the 80s.
Yeah. Lethal Weapon style.
I'm going to show you how it's done.
Ooh, Danny Glover's here.
Dude,
nice.
That was a great Danny Glover.
Pull out my 38. Pull out my 38, roll my neck around.
And say, I'm too old for this shit.
I'm not too old for this shit. Yeah, read them and weep.
I'm sorry, I'm just looking at my notes for other bits and bobs. I think,
we got to do a Lethal Weapon soon.
Why does the kid, when he does like this super weird flashback, like he goes back to his own house, and then like the video thing is like giving him a tour of the house, and like the house is like pristine, like, you know, like a normal person would move out of a house, right? But then there's a couple of places where there's like the detritus of like Murphy's old life, and all of those items are either broken or burnt or both.
It doesn't make much sense, but I like that scene.
I like the scene too. I just thought it was weird that like all of like anything that was left from their life was like broken or burned. Like the house was burned down, but it wasn't burned down. Like it was just, I don't know, it was kind of weird. I did like the scene though. I thought it lent a lot to the film.
It's like his wife was like upset and smashing shit and burning old photos, and you know what I mean? Like maybe.
Yeah, I guess so.
I mean, maybe. No. I think it was Bobby. I think Bobby tried to blow the door, and it just, you know, it all burned. That's what I think happened.
He burned the fucking.
You burned the goddamn pictures, Bobby.
Bobby.
Oh, you
I
mean
did, Bobby. What the fuck, Bobby? It's like I tried to blow the door and it blew the whole thing. Hey, what am I say?
And then Michael Caine came in and he was like, "You were only supposed to blow the bloody doors off."
Of course, we had to go there. Michael Caine. I like it.
Right?
Yeah.
I forgot how we got there, but
for the Robo Realtor in the burnt up house.
Oh yes. Oh man. Okay. What did you have, Ben?
No, it's not even. Sorry, just nothing. Okay. It's not related.
Random chuckle. It's something non-show related.
I was just cracking up the meme I put up with like you know, it's got a shot of like all the cast members like working out, and then it's got Affleck and he's like stuffing a cheeseburger.
No,
in his
dude,
face.
that was so.
I absolutely love that, man. I thought that was hysterically funny.
Fucking Pyburn in the comments is like, Bathman hungry. I was just laughing all day about that.
Good times. Good times.
Nom 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 nom.
Oh shit!
So wait,
thanks for that one.
Yeah,
Piper.
like Henry Cavill and Momoa were like, "What did you do for your workout?" I was flipping giant tractor tires. He was like, "Wait, what? Workout?
I got a spare tire. Does that count?"
I was eating cheeseburgers. Right, I got a spare tire. I don't have a 6-pack. I got a 40.
Yeah.
Right? So, other episodes aside, what a train wreck. I love how you were like, we got to wrap this up.
Sorry.
No, it's okay, man. It's hysterical. So anyway, attached to the everything's burned out in the world of Alex Murphy bit, like the other part that I found was weird and a little creepy was like the kid in the devil costume. Like my brother had like a great gripe of Kev last night when we were watching it. He was like, does he really need his mom to pull the hood up? And I was like, I don't know, because the kid looks like he's 14, right? And then he's like taking the pitchfork and he's like kind of stabbing it in the air like a 5-year-old would. But like the kid is so not 5. He's definitely 13 or 14. It was just so weird, man.
Puberty's like, hey, Dad, come get a photo with me and Mom.
Yeah, exactly.
We're gonna go trick or treat.
Start getting some coke on Halloween. Yeah, that was weird.
That's such a gripe of Kevin. I love it.
It is it's a little gripey Kev and in a bob, wrapped in a bob.
Very.
All right, I got no more bits or bobs. Are we in Nuggets territory?
Hold on, I got one more that is just you can't ignore it. It's a great one from this movie.
Okay.
And that would be the scene where one of my favorite parts is when, aside from Johnson going, go Robo, is when there's the hostage situation. And I guess the councilman or whatever is holding the mayor hostage. And it's just, the whole thing is so great and so dumb at the same time.
So dumb.
I love the councilman, you know, well, first of all, the lieutenant in charge of SWAT, his name is Lieutenant Hedgecock, which is great. And he's like, Miller, what do you want? He's like, I want a burrito and don't fuck with me.
Yeah.
And I want a new car and don't fuck with me. And I want my old job back. Like, it's just so stupid, man. It's like, you're never going to make it out of there in one piece, buddy.
It's not happening.
And then he's like, does it come with cruise control?
And the level they throw him out.
It flies too, man. And it's all yours if you come downstairs.
Yep. For the low price. I don't know that, but I can tell you this. Yeah. I can't comment on that.
Miller, would you buy that for $1?
That's a death.
Oh,
the RoboCop chucks him out the window, and all the cops are like, ha. You know,
totally.
It's just like, all right, there you go.
You're like, I always wanted to do that.
So good. I thought you were going with the shooting the dude in the dick, but with the girl's dress kind of scene.
Nope, but that was my last one. Was that the guy had the dumbest denim jacket on that was. It had suede, like it had brown suede fringe accents on a denim jacket. Like it was the worst amalgamation of bad fashion ever. Like the 80s had interesting fashion, but that particular outfit, jeans, a denim jacket, which would qualify it as a Canadian tuxedo first and foremost, and then to have the ridiculous suede fringe on it was just too much.
I love the shit you get hung up on, dude. I love that.
Hey, man, it wouldn't be this show if I didn't, right?
Right.
Good times, man.
Okay,
so
Nuggets.
That's what I got for bits and bobs.
I'd buy that for $1.
We ready for Nuggets, Benny?
Yeah.
Chadwick, what do you got?
This was like my auxiliary backup Nugget, so it's not particularly good. I already told you the Die Hard gunshot one. The scientists in this movie are named after U.S. presidents, and the cops are all named after serial killers, which I thought was kind of weird.
Whoa, that's weird. That's kind of creepy.
Kind of into it.
Yeah. Okay, not necessarily a nug per se. I've never been able to find this out until I just ejected during the show to find out.
Well, there you go.
And that would be that the show that plays in the background throughout the movie is called It's Not My Problem. I'd buy that for $1 show.
Okay. Was that worth dying for?
Which is funny because you'd think it would be called I'd buy that for $1.
You would think.
Well, that's what I would think too, Benny, but it's not. And yes, Chad, that was worth dying for.
My one remaining nugget is the precinct used for filming is the same one where Lee Harvey Oswald was booked for killing JFK. The precinct used for filming this movie is the same one where Lee Harvey Oswald was booked for killing JFK.
Wait, what? Wait, what? Say that again?
This film was shot in Dallas, and the cop shop is the exact same actual precinct where Lee Harvey Oswald was booked.
Wow. That is a nice little nug right there.
Back and to the left, man.
Back and to the left, dude. Nice job.
Enhance. Enhance.
Okay, so this movie, apparently, this script went through everybody in Hollywood before Verhoeven got it. And even he read it and thought it was just another dumb action movie and threw it down on the floor. His wife picked it up and read it and convinced him to do it because he thought that there was some really interesting layers of satire and comedy and all of the other things. So I thought that was kind of interesting.
Thank you, Mrs. Verhoeven.
Thank you, Mrs. Verhoeven.
Thank you, Mrs. Verhoeven.
Thanks, Miss V.
Thanks, Miss V is like open the fridge, like, yeah, purple stuff. Oh, Sunny D.
Totally, dude. You got soda, purple stuff. What? Sunny D.
Oh, nice one, Mrs. V.
Yeah, totally. Okay, so the Robocop suit was so hot that Weller was losing 3 pounds a day in water weight.
That's nuts.
Isn't that crazy, man? And then apparently they redesigned it for the second film because it was so uncomfortable.
I believe
what else
it.
You got? Anything?
No, that's it, man. That's all. I got those two.
I think the only other one that was sort of interesting was that I guess Verhoeven and Rob Bottin clashed quite a bit on this movie about how things were supposed to be done. But Rob apparently had zero trouble accepting when Verhoeven asked him to do Total Recall, which I did not realize he did, which I thought was pretty cool.
I read something about that, actually, where evidently the scene where Robocop takes off his helmet, they had a huge argument about whether or not it should be lit well or not. And whatever the dude's name you were talking about wanted it to be kind of dark. And Verhoeven was like, nah, man, it needs to be like as bright as it can possibly be. And they had like a huge falling out, and he didn't speak to him for the rest of the production. And then like when they screened it, they both were so happy with the result of the scene that they like made up and like bro hugged and then went on to Total Recall. So that's pretty cool.
Nice. Did they start making out in the theater when that happened?
I think so.
Did they go to the beach and frolic in half shirts?
Yes, that's what they did. Yes. Yeah.
I bet they looked at each other and they both said at the same time, they went, "Go Robo."
Go Robo. Oh, so dumb.
And then they said, "Jinx, you owe me a pound of Coke."
You owe me some Coke.
Pulled out some pocket charcuterie and had a nosh.
Nice.
The way.
That was a wonderful, wonderful part of last week's episode. All right, should we get on to the deaths?
Yeah, dog.
All right, here's what we got. Chad, you had probably the most egregious.
The 109.
Ed 109 death.
I'll take it.
I lost my train of thought. Ben out of Star Wars. I had I didn't get the whole police on strike thing, which is pretty stupid too. Chad, you had a death by Weller himself, which is probably the most glorious.
That's pretty
death of
good,
all.
yeah.
You're a move, creep.
And then I had the Admiral Weller death from Star Trek because I'm dumb again. And then I destroyed Benny with a Batman death.
Yeah, I also got thrown into the Rancor pit by
oh, that's right,
Jabba. Rancor pit.
Oh yeah, that was your Star Wars death. Yep. And then we had It's Not My Problem. I had an It's Not My Problem death.
Your injection, you mean?
And that's it. What's that?
That was an injection.
I believe so, yes.
Jesus Christ.
I know.
They're mowing my lawn right now.
Nice. Well, we're almost done, so it's all right. All right, so ratings. Let's do it. Go ahead, Chad.
I had this one on the algo already at a 5.9, which I think is a touch too high. So I will revise it today to a 5.6. It's still a pretty solid showing. Some company that it keeps that's relatively in the same space is Virtuosity, which I think is a really good one. It's kind of in the same same neighborhood as True Lies, which I think this is better than True Lies, but True Lies is entertaining in other ways and is kind of satirical as well. So it kind of makes sense that it's in the same neighborhood. But yeah, it's a solid movie.
Yeah, I can see
5.6. I think it holds up. I really didn't care too much watching it, but I enjoyed it. I had fun, and I still think it's a good movie. Yeah.
Yeah, right on. I'm feeling where you're at there.
Did we warm you up at all?
I think so. I think just talking about it helped. Maybe I just wasn't in the best headspace for it. But, yeah, I don't having a laugh about it and talking about it, I think helped for sure.
Right on. This movie is a 9. There's very little I don't like about it. It's a classic movie. It holds up great. Like, the pacing is fantastic. Like, even the funny bits are still great. Funny, cheesy, whatever. I wouldn't change anything about it. So I'll keep it short and sweet this week. I'm going to give it a 9.
Nice.
Much like the rudimentary pace that Robocop eats,
nice.
Some might think it's gross or disgusting and it might smell weird and it might be weird, but much like Johnson, I really love it. This movie is a 9 for sure.
Yeah, nice.
I love that this movie is a 9 for you, but I also love that this movie is like a little paper cup full of baby food.
Yeah. Yucky looking brown baby food.
That's it.
Right on, man. All right. So there you have it, folks. Algorithm, what are we doing next week?
Back to the Future 3.
Ooh, okay.
You had the idea to start at the end and then go back in time to watch the other ones, which is very meta.
Ooh, there we go. I like it.
You can just say bye if you want, Benny, and get off mic.
Yes, I will do that. Actually, I got to run.
Well, that sounds fantastic. So there you have it, folks. Thank you so much for joining us for the 1987 classic RoboCop science fiction film, and please join us next week for yet another classic, Back to the Future 3. And that's all for now. So long.
See ya.
Adios.
And that's going to do it for this week's episode. Folks, if you want to support us, there's many great ways to do that. You can rate us and review us on iTunes or wherever you get your podcasts.
Applesauce.
Robo bullets. Baby food. None of that worked.
You're dead.
Hey, whatever. I'm going to plow forward, okay?
Okay.
Death in the end. Death in the end credits. You can also tell a friend to check out the show. Word of mouth is incredibly powerful, so please tell your friends, buddies, whatever, your family even too. You can also support us on Patreon, patreon.com/EBD podcast. We would sure appreciate it. You can find the show notes for this episode in your podcast app of choice or our website, ebd.fm/episodes/107. Please follow us on social media, folks. We use the handle @EBD Podcast on all social media channels, so join in on the conversation. We spend a lot of time talking on Instagram, and it'd be great to have you. Hope you enjoyed this episode of RoboCop. Please stay tuned next week, folks, as we cover Back to the Future 3. So long for now, and we'll see you next time, folks.
Beady. 2 weeks.